Okay, homework 3. We're making a shape move from the bottom of the screen to the top, the upper right corner down to the lower left corner, and then we're making a shape get smaller. That sounds like it's going to take us about 4 different variables. I could reuse the variables, but I think for our purposes it's going to be a good exercise in making good variable names for these 3 different shapes that I need. So I'm going to start with a shape moving from the bottom of the screen to the top. That's going to require a variable in the y parameter of that shape. Let's say I'm going to make it a circle, so I'm going to use both the letter y and the fact it's a circle in the variable name. So I'm going to say int circle y, so I remember it's the y variable for my circle shape I'm about to make. That's again called declaring the variable, giving it a name and a data type. The type is int, it's an integer. Next, I'm going to initialize it. That's give it an initial value. So I'm going to say circle y equals, and if it's at the bottom of the screen, I can put it maybe at 450 as a starting value. Next, I'm going to make the shape ellipse. It can be anywhere on the x-axis. Maybe I'll say 250 to put it in the middle. Then I'm going to use that variable I just made as the y parameter of the ellipse and give my ellipse a width and a height. And then, I should probably give it a color too so we can see it on the screen. And then finally, I need an equation to, so the ellipse moves up, so the value of circle y gets smaller. So I'm going to say circle y equals circle y minus 2. So now, every time draw loops through, it'll subtract 2 from the value of circle y, giving it the impression that the shape is moving up. Okay, so a shape starting in the upper right corner and moving to the lower left. I'm going to come up with, maybe that will be a square. So I'm going to say int square x and int square y. I'm going to give them initial values, square x. So if it's on the right side of the screen, square x has to have kind of a high value, so maybe I'll say 500. And then square y, if it's at the top of the screen, it should have a very low value, so I'll say 0. Then down here, I'll make my rectangle and locate it at square x, square y. Make this one maybe kind of small, 25 by 25. And then I need to subtract from both of these to in order to make it move. So I'm going to say square x equals square x minus 1. And then just to be fast, I'm going to highlight, copy, paste, and change those x's to y's. But not minus. If oh my goodness gracious, yeah, we don't want them both to be subtracting. We do want square x moving to the left, so I am going to be subtracting from that value. But for square y, I don't want minus. I want plus to move it down while it's moving to the left. All right, 2 moving shapes. Now we need a shape getting smaller. A shape cannot have a negative size, so once my shape gets to be smaller than 0, any size function will start using the absolute value of that number. So it's going to have the appearance of the shape getting smaller, and then once it gets to 0, it's going to start getting bigger again because it will be using the absolute value of whatever those variables are at this time. Okay, we don't have a lot going on in this corner, so maybe I'll make my large shape get small over there. So I need just one variable for the size. So to save on, I don't know, typing, I'm going to just say S for size. I'll say size of shrinking shape. I'll give that an initial variable, S equals 300. semicolon. And then I'm going to use that as the size parameter. I'll do another ellipse. So ellipse, and this can have a static size. I'll just use, or a static location. I'll just use numbers for the x and y. So maybe I'll say 150, comma 150, and then the s, comma s for the width and the height. And then it will be getting smaller. So I'll say s equals s minus 1. Again, if you hit Command T, it will auto function, so all your indentations will line up with where they're supposed to be. Just to annotate this, S is height, or let's just say width first, width and height. S gets smaller. All right. And that's homework 3.